everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. I am your host John, and today here on the channel we're going to be talking about Billy Madison and its brand new Kino Lorber 4K Blu Ray that just came out. But before I get into that 4K Blu Ray review, I always like to give a quick film review, and today is no different. So if you don't want to know anything about the film Billy Madison and you're just here for that 4K Blu Ray review, you guys can skip ahead right now. So back in 1995, directed by Tamara Davis, we got Billy Madison. And this was the first of two big Adam Sandler films that put him on the map. Between this and Happy Gilmore, there's a reason why Adam Sandler's production company is called Happy Madison Productions or Happy Madison Films, is because of these two huge films. He was already on Saturday Night Live, so he's a big star there, but this really put him on the mainstream map as a movie star, mainly in the comedy genre. And if you were a kid of the 1990s, there's no doubt in my mind that you saw Billy Madison, and more than likely, you loved this movie. Billy Madison is the classic tale of a Nepo baby, the son of the guy who created Madison Hotels. There's 650 of them, and their dream was always to hand over the company to their only son, Billy Madison, who unfortunately likes to spend his days drinking with his buddies by the pool, playing Nintendo, and of course getting really excited for Nudie Magazine Day, and then chasing a penguin around in a drunken stupor. But it's time for his father to step down. His father is very recognizable, the same actor who plays the dad in A Christmas Story again. So if you're somebody who grew up in this era, this is one of the all-time great dads. And he truly loves his son. He wants to give the company to his son. But his son is such a failure and such a loser. He had to pay for him to get through school, or he wouldn't have passed high school. And Billy's like surprised at that. He's like, no, you didn't. He's like, do you remember the first grade spelling bee you were in? Dad. And he's like, rock, R-O-K? Yeah, so R-O-C-K! The C is silent. But he's like, come on, Dad, don't give the company to Eric, played by the great Bradley Whitford in this movie. And when I see Bradley Whitford, I'm sure most people might not think of him. A lot of younger people might think of him in Get Out now, but he'll always be Eric from Billy Madison to me. He's great as just like this weasel and conniving guy who I don't even know why they would even think about handing the company over to him. It should really just go to Carl. Carl's clearly the guy that Mr. Madison trusts with everything. When they go to set up this competition, he sees Carl, he's like, hey, arrange everything, and he trusts that he'll do it, and sure enough, he does. It should have gone to Carl. I don't know what Eric did, but you know, he is a weasel, so he probably found a way to connive his way into that to be the number two in the company and try and manipulate Mr. Madison to hand it down to him and have control of his 61,000 employees. And he asked him, do you think it's smart enough to gamble those people's lives on a game? The game being, you know what? Billy will go back to school, and he'll do each grade in 2 weeks, and as long as he passes, he gets the company. So it's a big game, and you know, of course, they pointed out how ridiculous it is. Even Miss Veronica Vaughn, that hot piece of ace, she makes sure to point out to Billy, he's like, don't you think it's pathetic that you're only because of who you are, you're allowed to come back and do school over again? He's like, yes, I do. As long as you know. Because it is a ridiculous premise, but it's absolutely hysterical. Watching them go through grade after grade after grade. Obviously, they focus on third grade most because that's where Miss Vaughn is. And we got to build up that relationship. They go on the field trip. You ain't cool unless you pee your pants and all that kind of stuff. Chris Farley is phenomenal as the bus driver. I'll turn this damn bus around, and that'll be the end of your precious little field trip. Just hysterical in a small role. I mean, Norm Macdonald pops up in a small role as well, and he has my favorite scene in the movie when the news broadcast interrupts the show and they're about to go into it, and they're like, 27-year-old man is accused of cheating his way through school, and then Norm Macdonald's like, wait, maybe it's somebody else. Like, who the hell else could it be? But it's just absolutely hysterical. Of course, you know, he's lying, and that's building up to the big academic triathlon that we're going to have to close out this movie. And it's a great scene, great way to end the movie. You know how this movie is going to end. Of course, he ends up getting the company, but because unlike most Nepo babies who live today, who end up taking over their father or mother's company and destroying it and acting like they're entitled to everything and they deserve to be the head of these companies and control all the working class people, Billy's a much nicer guy, a much friendlier guy. You know, he might not be the smartest guy in the room, but he's self-aware enough to know, I gotta hand this company over to Carl, and that's exactly what he does, and he is going to become a teacher. A nice happy ending to a great 90s comedy film that might not be for everybody, but if you're somebody who grew up with Adam Sandler or somebody who just loves Adam Sandler, this is obviously one of his greatest films. I haven't seen it in years until I rewatched it on 4K Blu-ray. I burnt myself out of it so much when I was younger, just watching it over and over and over again, that, you know, when you know every single line in a comedy film, it doesn't really make you laugh as much unless you give it a break. And luckily, I gave this movie a break for quite some time, and me and my wife were really able to get into it. She always watches it because it's one of her favorite films, but I took a few years off, and I think it was better for me to do that. I think I enjoyed the film more than I would have if I had watched it again like another 6 months ago. Now, a couple years off of this, I really appreciated the jokes over and over again, even though I knew every single line that was coming up. But hey, I had a great time with it, and there's a reason why I decided to pick up this Kino Lorber 4K Blu-ray that we're going to talk about right now. And here it is, Kino Lorber's version of Billy Madison on 4K Blu-ray. Kino Lorber has definitely paid more attention to comedies this year. They did Uncle Buck earlier this year, which was given rave reviews as far as the visuals go. I've reviewed a few comedies on the channel from Kino Lorber as well. We also have Happy Gilmore coming out on August 19th. So they're really concentrating on comedy this year, like a lot of studios are, which I appreciate. I feel like as 4K Blu-rays have come out, comedy has really gotten the shaft. And the thing is, even though they're concentrating on comedy, they're really not giving us the full package, Kino Lorber. I do love the artwork going with the regular movie poster. Kino Lorber always does that. This just reminds me of the VHS in Blockbuster. I can vividly remember holding that in my hand, had the movie poster on it as well. So it makes sense, and this is what Kino Lorber does. You know, they like to keep everything uniform. If it's Kino Lorber packaging, it's Kino Lorber packaging. They're not going to change for anything. When you come inside, I fixed this because I don't know why they do it, but I made sure to put the Blu-ray on this side and the 4K Blu-ray over here. They start with the 4K over here, and I've never understood that. Only Kino Lorber does that. But I switched it around. I try to do that as long as I can remember to. And then, of course, I pop in the Blu-ray disc first, check it out, and you know what? No extras whatsoever. I don't know if the previous release Blu-ray had any extras because I didn't actually own that. Like I said, it kind of took a few years off. Had Happy Gilmore on Blu-ray, but I never had Billy Madison on Blu-ray. So the last time I had Billy Madison was on DVD, and I'll be honest, I don't remember the extras for that. So I was getting a pretty big visual and audio upgrade, but you still hope for some extras. At least they didn't label it bonus and just have trailers. I appreciate them for, you know, being a little bit more upfront and not try and fool us and make it seem like they did something that they didn't. They didn't put any extras on here. There's just 2 audio commentary tracks, so if you're a fan of audio commentary tracks, you'll be happy. But if you're somebody like me, and I know not everybody feels this way, you know, some people are just there for that visual upgrade, and that's more than enough for them. When they go to the 4K Blu-ray, as long as the visual upgrade is there, they don't really necessarily care if there's an upgrade to the audio, and a lot of people really don't care about extras. And that's cool. I appreciate that. I respect that. I know I'm probably in the minority in 2025, but when you pay this amount of money for things, you expect at least some bonus features, because it's something we used to get back in the early 2000s, and it's something I feel like if you're gonna be buying physical media and you want to separate yourself from streaming, the big thing is the extras. Yes, you know, we get the uncompressed version of the visuals and audio when you buy physical media. That's awesome. It's absolutely the best way to check these out if you just want to check out the film. But the entire physical media package, I feel like, should include some extras. I mean, some interviews. Adam Sandler seems like one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. You probably could have at least got him on a Zoom call, talked about making Billy Madison. He just made Happy Gilmore too. I'm sure he would have at least talked about it. Talked to some of the other actors who are in this movie who are still alive, because unfortunately a lot of actors in this film have passed away. R.I.P. Norm Macdonald. So you're not going to get him or Chris Farley, but you know, some of the smaller actors, the director, a producer, or something, put a little bit of effort in. I mean, Arrow Video does it with all of their releases, and those releases aren't that much different in price compared to this. This dropped down to $28 on Amazon the day before I think it came out on 4K Blu-ray. So, you know, adjusting for what it is, which is cool. If you pre-order the film, you know, you'll get it at that lower price. But some people will pre-order this because of the name Billy Madison on a different site, and you're locked in at like that $35 price tag. And $35 for this is absolutely ridiculous. This is definitely worth it at like $20 because yes, you will get a visual upgrade. The audio, you do have the mono track added. That wasn't on the previously released Blu-ray, but the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 is the same audio, and it's good. It is good audio, for a comedy film, there's not any action sequences in here. There's a scene where, there's some fire, a flaming bag of dog shit, or Eric goes on fire in one scene, but, not really much action. So as long as that 90s score is kicking in well and all of the dialogue comes in crisp and clear, it's good. It's good. It's gonna make good use of your surround sound. But this isn't the kind of movie where you show off your system anyway. So if they were to upgrade it to Dolby Atmos, it probably would have been a waste. The audio tracks that are on here are more than enough. I can understand that. Now the visuals, they did upgrade the visuals phenomenally. You do have HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and the movie does look incredible. The Blu Ray that's packed in here is the same new scan, just downgraded to 1080p with no high dynamic range, no Dolby Vision, nothing like that. But it still does look really good. This is a fantastic scan of the film. Billy Madison has never looked this good to me. Only minor complaint might be like in the early scenes, I kind of noticed it just looked a little bit warmer, but I think my eyes adjusted to it because I then really did appreciate the entire package. Overall, this is a 90s film, a very colorful 90s film. Billy Madison himself, he's wearing very colorful shirts. I even like when he's in second grade at the spelling bee. The teacher, keep spelling, mister. That girl, like her dress never stuck out to me in Miss Lippy's class, like the stuff hanging in the background. That'll catch your eye now because the visuals are just done so well. And this is what I've been complaining about. It's like we don't get upgrades to comedy, and I feel like there are some beautiful looking comedies out there that deserve the 4K Blu-ray treatment, and Billy Madison is an example of that. This is a beautiful looking film. It's not something, not the most cinematic film or anything like that, but in the comedy genre, this is always a very good looking, colorful film. It's a light-hearted 90s film. It should feel very colorful and very light, and this 4K Blu-ray, the visuals really capture that perfectly. I have almost no complaints about the visuals. It is by far the biggest selling factor of this 4K Blu-ray. If you haven't had this on physical media, I can definitely recommend it. I just recommend it in like a 50% off sale. And if you love Billy Madison, same thing. I recommend it in like a 50% off sale. Grab it then. You'll be much, much happier. Unless you're somebody who just wants that visual upgrade. It really comes down to you. If you're somebody who doesn't give a shit about the extras or an audio upgrade, you know what, and you just want to see Billy Madison in the best way possible with the best visuals possible, you are going to be eating good in the neighborhood with this one. You'll be very happy. It's just I'm somebody who's looking at it from the total package viewpoint, and unfortunately, a lot of Kino Lorber's releases to me lately have felt very incomplete. I get it, they're at the mercy of like what's available, but I feel like Kino Lorber should be putting in a little bit more effort with the prices of these things, especially when it compares to other boutique labels who are putting in the effort. I feel like Kino Lorber is lagging behind, but that doesn't mean that this is a bad release or anything like that. If you're somebody who just cares about the visuals, I think you will be happy, but unfortunately I am a little bit disappointed. And if I was going to rate this 4K Blu-ray at a score of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. But anyway, that's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. We also have channel membership, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like Harvey Scott, John Doe Juggalo, and Ben Rondo, you could do that. You can even bump it up to the director's tier like Stone Gas Man, Uncle V, Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, Nicholas Head, and of course Kevin Kruger. You could do that, or you can even bump it up to the channel bankroll members like the legendary Mr. Smelly Potato. But of course, guys, if you have no money to throw my way, I don't mind at all. I just hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, if you did, get out those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.